generate all branches that, you see, they originate from the roots and go and spread and then blossom in the form of all these fruits that are knowledge and virtue, right? فَمِنْ فُرُوعِنَا كُلُّ بِرٍ فَمِنَ الْبِرِّ. Now the most interesting part in this hadith is this. From these, the goodness Imam is talking about, right, that originates from this school of Ahlul Bayt, from the household of Ahlul Bayt, from the household of Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. The first thing that comes out of this, which is the primary virtue, is at-tawheed. Tawheed grows out of our household. Usually people say, okay, Tawheed is the foundation of everything. Tawheed you will not find unless you belong to the household of Ahlul Bayt. There is no Tawheed. There's only a claim of Tawheed. Someone who sincerely believes in Tawheed, he learns it from the school of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Allahumma And we have mentioned earlier that this is the path that leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously, if you take a wrong road, you will not find Tawheed. For example, the path that's filled with oppression, injustice, right? Cruelty, ruthless, merciless behavior. The path that's based on shameless behavior, right? Bad feelings, bad attitude towards people. They're based on harming and usurping rights of other people. Even if you pray 5 times a day, even if you perform Hajj all your life, but your action is an action of Yazid, the action of Fir'aun, action of Namrud. This prayer, this level, this kind of Tawheed is fake. This Tawheed is only a claim. It's a false claim. The real Tawheed is found in the pure human values that you will not find anywhere except the house of Ali and Fatima alayhi salatu wasalam. Tawheed was Salat. Salat grows out of our house. Like we produce Salat. The root of Salat is the mawaddat and walayat of Ahlul Bayt. And from there you get Tawheed. From there you get prayer, was Siyam. For example, this as simple as a simple salam that you say to each other. You cannot really understand what salam is unless you come to the door of Sadiq Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Ask him what salam is. He says salam means it's the name of Allah. When you say salam, you are making a prayer to this other person, for this other person. And you're exchanging this salam, which means you are both praying for each other and saying that we should be salim, we should be pure from all sin, right? We are in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we say salam but enter in a wrong transaction, for example, 2 people say salam and trying to hurt a third person, this is no salam. If the interaction involves something haram in it, this salam means nothing. It is actually a lie, and it is an insult to Allah and an insult to Tawheed. It is not a salam. Salam means now this interaction between these 2 mu'mineen or mu'minat is an interaction, an exchange based on divine value. And it follows the moral code, follows the legal code of Islam. That's simple as that. Where do you learn this? You learn it from the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. From such a simple thing up to everything else in Islam, you learn from their household. So the Tawheedi lifestyle, the lifestyle that involves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the center of everything, this lifestyle you learn from the household of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Waqazmul siyam, fasting. The real fasting comes from there. Waqazmul ghayz, to control your anger. Wal afu anil musi, to forgive the person who has made a mistake, done something wrong. Wa rahmatul faqir, to show mercy to the needy. Wa ta'ahudul jar, to be responsible for your neighbor. right? Neighbor's right. وَالْإِقْرَارُ بِالْفَضْلِ لِأَهْلِهِ. That's another virtue in the school of Ahlul Bayt. وَالْإِقْرَارُ بِالْفَضْلِ لِأَهْلِهِ. That you will respect those who enjoy respect in a society. Those who are respected in a society, you will also respect them. Respect in the real sense. إِقْرَارُ بِالْفَضْلِ لِأَهْلِهِ. Someone who truly deserves respect, you will respect him. So this is in human nature. People who embrace Islam early in Makkah because of akhlaq of Rasul Akram, not because of the miracles of Holy Prophet. People did not come to Islam because Rasul Akram was showing mu'jizat. Very few people saw mu'jizat. The mu'jizat of Rasul Akram were not those other things. It was the Holy Quran itself. But people were impressed, yes, with this ijaz of Quran, which is knowledge and wisdom, right? But and the fact that how Quran endorses human values, how it respects the human intellect, how it reinforces this moral compass, the sense of right and wrong in the human person, that this human being understands what is right and wrong. Quran is there to remind and reinforce your commitment to morality, right? That is what Quran does. Yes. But the real impact was the akhlaq of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma sallallahu. So that you will see, that you will find in the household of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. You see, look at the incident of Karbala. Sayyid al-Shuhada is living in a time where the culture of Abu Sufyan, Muawiyah and Yazid is now rampant. It's taking over the society. What does that mean? It means a person who believes that, for example, this Khalifa, right, is from Allah. He thinks that Yazid ibn Muawiyah, for example, whoever takes power in his hands, by hook or by crook, by force, by deceit, by lie, corruption, whatever, is now a Khalifa that is imposed by Allah, na'uzu billah, upon the people. So people have no right. And therefore, to protect this Khilafat, which actually stands on the basis of zulm and injustice, has to be protected, whatever the means could be, whatever the price be, whatever the cost be. This is the school of Yazid and Abu Sufyan and Bani Umayyah, for which they are willing to cut the throats of innocent people, which they have been doing for 50 years. Take away lands, properties, murder, rape, kidnap, whatever they want to do. Changing Islamic laws, ridiculing, openly mocking the person of the Holy Prophet, teachings of Holy Prophet, all that is okay. Why? Because this Khalifa is from Allah, so therefore the survival of, in their understanding, the survival of Islam is based on the Khilafat of Yazid ibn Muawiyah. How messed up, how confused these people are. But it is set in their brains. It is set in their brains that, for example, and it has not come to this point very easily. They have spent billions in those times. They have worked very hard to instill this, to brainwash the people into believing that the Khilafat of those three in the beginning and then Muawiyah and Yazid actually is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not an easy thing to do. For the masses to accept such a thing, that an oppressive ruler could be put in place by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not an easy thing to do. But they actually came to believe this. After killing Imam Hussain, Shimr was sitting in front of Kaaba and praying with all his devotion. Shimr was sitting in front of Kaaba, praying with all devotion and tears in his eyes. Somebody saw him and said, "Oh, why Bashama? What is this? You're crying? You're sitting in Kaaba after killing the grandson of Rasulullah? You're sitting here praying for what?" He said, "Oh, I would be worse than an animal if I did not follow the order of Amir al-Mu'mineen. I'll be worse than a goat or a sheep if I would not act upon the order of Khalifatul Muslimin." So it was set in their minds that the Khilafat of A'immatul Jawr, the leaders of oppression, was actually ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that even if they die in this path, they are shaheed in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now some of us may think, well, there are a lot of people who believe that way. You see what's happening in occupied territories, these soldiers, they're fighting, they think they are fighting based on some kind of divine order they have received. There are a lot of Daesh, there are all of these people who are committing crimes against humanity. Only today I was told that they kidnapped 20 Shia youth from near the Haram of Janab Sayyida, Zainab Salamullah alayhi. And they go and they kill them, they cut off their hands and legs and their heads and torture them and maim them and throw their bodies all over the place, and they send out these videos to terrorize the people. Lives of hundreds of thousands of Shia in Syria are in danger. They are doing this every day. They are scared. Families over there are scared for their daughters. They will be kidnapped by those people, same criminals. And who are these criminals? They are praying and fasting and reading Quran. And they think they are doing something right. So you see that a person can pray and fast, right, and be so oppressive. So the main topic of Islam in the eyes of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, right, are two important things. Salawat. One is that the morality must always be supreme. So for them, Khilafat is supreme, and everything can be sacrificed to protect that Khilafat. Morality, akhlaq, Qanun, Shariat, Quran, everything can be drained and thrown in the trash to protect this person of Khalifa who is in power right now. That's one way they look at it. And how does Ahlul Bayt look at it? They say that akhlaq and human rights, even freedom, choice, the right for the people to choose. Now Imam Hussain alayhi salam, for example, in Karbala, he did not, when he was talking about Yazid, he was not talking about those small things, that he plays with monkeys or he drinks or those things. No, that was not the main thing. He says that he has been put in place unjustly. Muawiyah had committed in the treaty with Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wasalam that he will not appoint a successor. So a breach of that treaty. What does that mean, breach of? It means that he's not allowing the people the right to choose their ruler. Now Imam is talking according to the logic of those people. The logic of Ahlul Bayt is that Allah chooses the Imam. Okay, that is the logic. They may not agree on that. But okay, the logic that both agreed on in the treaty is that, okay, you believe that Rasulullah did not appoint an Imam upon the Muslimin. Okay, so it is the right of the people then. Not the right of one particular family. The right of the people, because the Khalifatul Muslimin, you are calling this person Amirul Mu'mineen. So it's the Amir of the Mu'mineen. But you said no. Anyone in power can use any means available, by hook or by crook, and become the leader of the society through oppression, by murdering people, and that everyone has to accept just because this person has assumed power now, he is the rightful ruler. Imam Hussain is saying this is wrong. That people should not be treated as sheep. People have a right to choose. People have a sense of good and bad and right and wrong to understand. Imam Hussain is objecting to that. Breach of that treaty. Violation of human rights. The fact that you are taking away rights, basic rights of human beings, the right to choose their leader, because the ruler can destroy or protect all the culture and civilization of a place. You see, look at the history, and I don't want to go into too much detail tonight over this, but later on, when they attacked the house of Allah. So one was during the time of Yazid. They attacked Makkah and they burned down the house. Another one in the time of Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. Hajjaj used to send forces to destroy Kaaba, and they burned down the Kaaba. That's where Abdullah ibn Zubair was also hanged in the Kaaba. He was a troublemaker all this time. Anyway, now these horsemen, they entered the Kaaba, killing and beheading people and all that, and they come to this close to this Kaaba. And like today, if you go there, I think there still is pigeons. They keep the pigeons in near the Kaaba. They have put these seeds for them. They're eating and they're just there. So they're the pigeons of the house of Allah. Okay. So these horsemen and this cavalry charging into this Masjid al-Haram, they come inside and they're just about to trample over these birds. And this commander says, okay, take care, be careful. Don't crush these pigeons. They just killed like thousands of people. And they get inside this house of Allah and say, oh, be careful, these are pigeons of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one soldier says to the other, I am a little bit confused here. We didn't just kill like hundreds of people who really had nothing to do with us. And now we are trying to save some pigeons in this house. So the other one says, it is a bit difficult to understand, but it is the hukm of the Amir. It is the order and command of Khalifa. Therefore we have to do it. Because that is superior. The order of Khalifa is the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to kill innocent people. And if the Khalifa says, okay, don't kill these pigeons, that's also order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somehow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, na'uzubillah, got it all mixed up. Couldn't figure this out. That okay, killing, for example, human beings okay, but killing pigeons is not okay, for example. This is the confused mindset of these people who truly believe that they are doing the right thing. Why? Because ends for them justify the means. Just because the Khalifa is from Allah, therefore you can butcher and slaughter the whole population to keep Yazid in place, in power. That is the mindset of these people. Please sign a salawat. Now look at the character of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, right? Throughout this journey and throughout his life and all the Imams, but Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he did not violate a single code of morality. Right? When he saw that, okay, the house of Allah could be desecrated because of an attempt on my life. If I am assassinated, there will be a bloodshed and all of that and other reasons. So he left. The people on the way, they asked, everyone is going into Makkah. Why is this caravan coming out? Who are these people? And they said, this is the grandson of Rasulullah who's leaving Makkah. And they would start asking, why is he leaving? Okay, because Imam Hussain, his eyes are fixed on the fact that, the sanctity of the Kaaba. And also the fact that, okay, right now, the main evil is the rule of Yazid ibn Muawiyah. The corruption that is spread from the top. Imam Hussain is faced with the army of Hur. Okay. Imam Hussain could have attacked them. They had no water. They were very thirsty, helpless. Imam Hussein's army was fresh. They had water, everything. They had a better location in terms of, they got to that point, they saw this army coming, they went next to a cliff. They could have, some of them suggested. One of the companions, Imam Hussain, suggested, this is the time. Their numbers are not as big. So we can actually fight them and defeat them right here. Imam Hussain said, I will not be the one to initiate a conflict. What does that mean? The morality is supreme, the values, human values are supreme, right? They're not just for this day, for all times to come. People to see that, who has initiated bloodshed? Just as his father, Imam Ali, before the battle of Jamal, Imam Ali did not leave Medina to fight a battle to save his imamat or khilafat. He saw the helpless people are dying, they're butchering and slaughtering people and torturing them in Basra. He had no choice. Came out. Human life is more important, not the khilafat of Ali ibn Abi Talib. That is how great this issue of morality is. You see, Imam Hussain al-Islam is looking at this how high the standard should be. That people, human beings should always have, freedom to choose, freedom to think. They must be invited. Imam Hussein is providing them an explanation. He wants them to understand, not be forced. He says, go. If you want to go, they are coming after me. If you believe that you have an obligation, then be willing to die for this. So a lot of people who saw Imam Hussein leaving Makkah, there were many who joined from Makkah. They would join, and Imam Hussein at every break, there were many manazil, 37 or 40 manazil Imam Hussein stopped, all the way up to Karbala. And every time he would stand up, speak to the crowd. Whoever was present, talk about, that خُطَّ الْمَوْتُ عَلَى ابْنِ آدَمْ مَخَطَّ الْقَلَادَةِ فِي جِيدِ الْفَتَاةِ. He said, death has been written as an ornament for a brave, chivalrous person, just like a necklace around the neck of a bride, He said, what is he talking about? Talking about martyrdom, talking about dying. Dying for what? Dying to save the people, so that people will have the awareness, there will be an awakening, there will be a sense of, there will be the courage among the people that they stand up for their rights. And it bore fruit. You see, the moral conduct of Imam Hussein impacted centuries to come. There were uprisings after uprisings. Right when the caravan arrived in Kufa, there was an uprising right there. Even during Karbala, there was an uprising. Habib ibn Mazahir, he was from Bani Asad. When he came to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he saw how small the force of Imam Hussein was, so he went to his Qabila, which was not very close, but he went to invite them to join Imam Hussein's army, you see. And they came. Some of them came. I don't know what numbers, but there were quite a few, probably 100 or more. They came, and there was an encounter with the army of Yazid. I call them army of Sham, because originally these Khawarij, Nasibi, they were all from Sham, most of them. Even those who said they belonged to Kufa, mostly they were army of Sham, who had settled in Kufa during the Khilafat of Maulana Ali, the Battle of Siffin and the Battle of Jabal and Siffin. They had come from Sham. Many of them had settled and they married and all that. So demographics of Kufa had changed a lot. Whatever. There was an encounter, some of them got killed. So while Karbala hasn't even started, an uprising has begun. Why? Because the moral behavior of Imam Hussein invites people, attracts people, just as the behavior of Rasul Akram, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's why I mentioned a hadith from Imam Musa al-Kazim alayhi salatu wa salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam alayhi salam says, Inna lil Quran zahran wa batnan. Quran has a face and a soul. Quran has a body and Quran has a soul, right? So whatever Allah has forbidden in Quran is the face, right? Face of this Quran. فَجَمِيعُ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ فِي الْقُرْآنِ هُوَ الظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ أَئِمَّةُ الْجَوْرِ. But the soul of all the evil is actually the leaders of oppression. The leadership of an oppressor is the real evil of the society, not the drinking or backbiting or zina or whatever else you see. No, those. So Imam Hussein is pointing his finger at the real source of this oppression, of evil in the society, which is the rule of A'immatul Jawr. Right? وَالْبَاطِنُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ أَئِمَّةُ الْجَوْرِ وَجَمِيعُ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ. The opposite is true as well. وَجَمِيعُ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فِي الْكِتَابِ. And all that Allah has allowed in the Quran, right? For example, things that have been made allowed, or things have been made obligatory, like prayers, and all the things that Islam encourages us to do, right? جَمِيعُ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فِي الْكِتَابِ هُوَ الظَّاهِرُ. That's the face of Islam. Okay, you should respect your elders, you should cover yourself, do this, do that, okay? Don't hurt people, or whatever, everything. That is the zahir. وَالْبَاطِنُ مِنْ ذَلِكَ أَئِمَّةُ الْحَقِّ. The soul of all the goodness is the leaders of justice, which is the A'immatu Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wassalam. So that's the main crux of this message, is that you look at Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he says, okay, what is the root of all evil? The root of evil is the rule of oppression, which has not been supported by the people. People did not choose. Because you can either have a ruler appointed by God, like prophets. All Muslims believe prophets are sent by God. Prophets are not elected by the people. So the Holy Prophet of Islam wanted the same thing to continue after him. In Ghadir, the Prophet said, Alastu awla bikum min anfusikum. Do I not have more authority over you than you have upon yourself? And people said, Ajal, yes, that is true. Bali ya Rasulullah. You, Rasulullah Akram, have more authority over us, right? So he said, Faman kuntu maulahu fahadha aliyun maulahu. Whoever I am his Maula, his Ali is also Maula. So where in this whole discussion did Rasulullah ask for a vote? Did he ask, okay, now with show of hands, let's see who's supporting Ali. How many of you would like to elect Ali as my successor? He never asked for a vote. His whole life, Rasulullah never held an election for his successor. Never took any surveys from the people. How many of the people are in support of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam? Please say salawat. He made a simple announcement. So he wanted that way to continue, right? Okay, well, they believe that no, Rasulullah Akram left it to the people. Well, the people then, right? Not some particular family. So A'immatul Jawr, the Tawaghit, right? The Mustakbirin, they are the people who have an unjustified claim to power. They're not entitled, they don't meet the conditions, they don't deserve to hold any office, public office, let alone the office of leadership of Muslim Ummah, which is the driving force behind all that goes on. He is the person who is supposed to implement the body and the soul of Islam. They must implement the true message of Islam. The primary thing is rights of the people. And also protect and promote a culture that is based on the values of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam. The Holy Prophet was a person who encouraged and who spread a certain culture. See, Quran warns us all the time, Shaitan, what is he trying to do? He's trying to create a divide between husband and wife. That's what he tried to do with Adam and Eve in paradise. Iblis came and said, okay, you should eat this. Lying, deceiving, false, qasam, all of that stuff. And created this problem. Then Iblis came again, brother against brother, Qabil killed Habil. Then created one after another, discord among the people. What does Allah says? وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. Allah has a different approach over these things. Family values. Quran says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. Among the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Rum. In the signs of Allah is He created your mates from your own souls. So men and women, there's a source of, peace and tranquility for each other. Marriage is sacred in Islam. And what do they say? No, you can live anywhere you like. Freedom. What does that mean? Where did that come from? That comes from this idea of Yahud. Yahud believe that Allah has created human beings and left them to figure out themselves. His hands are tied. Quran very clearly mentions, وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودِ يَدُ اللَّهِ مَغْلُولَةٌ. Yahud said, even today they believe in this. Because how can a human being allow himself to bomb and kill 70,000 people and get away and justify it even after massacring a whole population, strongly believe that he's doing the right thing? There's something essentially wrong, right? Corrupted in the software, the brain is all corrupted. This is قَالَتِ الْيَهُودِ. Allah says in Quran, قَالَتِ الْيَهُودِ. What does Yahud say? Yahud. They believe. قَالَتِ الْيَهُودِ يَدُ اللَّهِ مَغْلُولَةٌ. They believe the hands of Allah are chained and tied, right? غُلَّتْ أَيْدِهِمْ. Allah says their hands are tied. Why should Allah's hands be tied? وَلُعِنُوا. They are cursed. بِمَا قَالُوا. For what they have said. Falsely accused Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. بَلْ قَالُوا بِمَا قَالُوا بَلْ يَدَاهُ مَبْسُوطَتَانِ. Allah's hands are open. They're free. مَبْسُوطَتَانِ. Allah's hands are not tied. يُنْفِقُ كَيْفَ يَشَاءُ. Allah gives to whoever He wants. Nothing can prevent Allah. So Allah is in full active role right now in the universe. But they believe Allah has created human beings and then chosen some among the human beings who are this chosen creation, who are, they believe that they are the best of all. No one else. Other people are like sheep and dogs, or even worse than that. They can kill and do whatever. They are chosen, and Allah has tied His hand after creating human beings. He has no involvement, no interference, no active role in this universe. That's what they believe. They are cursed. بل يداه مبسوطتان ينفق كيف يشاء وليزيدن كثيرا منهم. So that's what. So the more Quran says, the more Allah's verses are revealed to the Holy Prophet, the more enraged, the more angry they become. Because they believe that they are the chosen ones and they have all power. And they have the supreme power on earth, they can do whatever they want. Whenever they see Allah's involvement, they get more furious and angry. And then they come, Quran mentions all over the place. Quran, they keep coming to you, O Rasulullah. If you are a prophet of Allah, why don't you bring down angels? Why don't you have a treasure? What are they doing? Openly challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Said Allah has no involvement. How can you be a prophet? Allah has gone to sleep, basically. Or someone has locked him up in some place. He created something and he's gone to sleep, or someone has locked Allah, na'udhu billah. So we are free and we are the chosen ones of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This kind of a belief is deeply rooted in the Yahud even today. And that's why you see what's going on with the faqat. Well, they say, yes, aluka. Imam Hussain al-Islam is pointing at the root of all evil. Imam Hussain al-Islam in Karbala, he brings all the ethical and moral, greatness in the battlefield even. Right? So he says, okay, give them water, they're thirsty, don't you see? Even the horses were given water, according to narrations. There was a soldier in the army of Khurr ibn Yazid. Imam Hussain alayhi salam was personally giving water to people. He gave a leather water bag to this soldier who was so thirsty that he didn't even have the energy. So he tried to grab this bag in his hand, he kept spilling it. So Imam Hussain personally bent down, picked up this bag and started pouring the water in his mouth. This is in history. Now these are the people coming to kill Imam Hussain alayhi salam. What are they thinking? They should kill all these people to protect the power of Yazid. What is Imam Hussain alayhi salam? Protect human beings. Because this moral code should be upheld. Right? How different, diametrically opposite beliefs and attitudes that you see among these people. Please cite a salawat. And therefore Karbala is very important for us. The incident of Karbala and the teaching of Imam Hussain al-Islam, you see the children in the camp. Imam Hussain al-Islam cries for every martyr. And he is, offering these people chance to back off, to leave this matter, and not be a slave of Yazid. Imam Hussain is saying, why are you following this Yazid? Why are you following oppression? Why are you part of this oppression? Don't you know Imam Hussain is introducing himself? Today in this world, is there anyone other than me who can claim to be Khamisu Ashab al-Kisa? Anyone other than Hussain ibn Ali who can claim to be among the Panjatan? I'm the fifth and the only member of Panjatan surviving and alive on this earth. Am I not? Don't you know? I am the son of the daughter of Holy Prophet. What does that mean? It is about culture. It's about civilization, values, human values, that you protect the honor of a child for his father. Why? Again, that is for someone who knows these things. You can't just teach somebody these things. You have to be brought up this way. 2 generations after Prophet, these ideas have been corrupted and lost. Now they don't understand these things anymore. Imam Hussain is telling them. So one of the ashab of Sayyid al-Shuhada asked him, Yabna Rasulullah, you have been speaking to these people and they are clapping and making noise so that others could not hear Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain is giving a speech from his camel with the loudest possible voice. And they are making noise trying to distract the audience. And Imam Hussain is, after finishing his beautiful speech, he came down, and one of his ashab came down or was sitting on his camel. The other sahabi asked him, Ibn Rasulullah, haven't you admonished them and reminded who you are? I mean, for him it was such an obvious thing. Being the son of the daughter of Holy Prophet is a big deal. Haven't you told them, Ibn Rasulullah, that you are the son of Prophet's daughter? Imam Hussain says, I have told them. I have just told them this. Then why are they willing? Why are they not listening? Why are they continuing this act of aggression against the Holy Prophet of Islam and his family? So Imam Hussain gave an answer which holds true to this day. Imam said, Muli'at butunuhum min al-haram. Their stomachs have become filled with haram. They made so many compromises over the right and wrong. You see, they took money so would not speak, right? So they will not denounce, they will not challenge authorities, they will support the wrong people, they will be the army of Yazid for money, they will be doing all of these for material favors, right? For their connections and all of that. They kept consuming haram food, haram wealth, sitting in the darbar and parties and banquets and attending those events with those so-called famous people, with such a sahabi who now has become the worst of all criminals, is calling himself a sahabi, right? And they have made all these compromises in their lives. Their bodies, each cell of their body is corrupted by haram. Illegal, illicit, illegitimate. See all these haram, unlawfully earned money, which is stolen money from the people, and they are using. How is, for example, this person enjoying such a banquet with this rich person, while there are people on the streets, they don't have food? This Imam Ali alayhi salam, Usman ibn Hanif, he writes a letter condemning his behavior, that he attended one banquet with the rich people of Basra. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, I was given this information that you attended a banquet where the poor people were denied access and only the rich people were sitting enjoying the food. Imam Ali is enraged, he's upset, angry over one of his persons is responsible in a city that he had appointed. And he, of course, Usman he apologized, he was sorry, whatever. You see, that haram has an effect on us. Eating haram, stolen money, if it's something doubtful, what am I doing? What is it going to do to me? It's going to affect my family. Why our children are losing the path? Because we are feeding them haram sometimes. Why? Why aren't we listening? Why our hearts are not soft to the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt? Because our soul is corrupted. We expose ourselves to haram things. We eat haram things. We listen to haram things. That's why. When our hearts, are not soft anymore. And that is the reason, that is supposed to be the direction. We correct our course correction, We need to search our soul and correct our course. Because we've lost the path. Come back to this path. It's not easy. Iblis and shayateen are active day and night. And Iblis tries his best to create discord among the people, even in the community, making one brother fight against another, one sister against, jealousy, hatred, contempt, making things that are not important, giving them too much importance. Then one day Imam Hussain arrives in Karbala. Imam Hussain is asking everyone to leave, but he writes this one letter to Habib ibn Mazahir. This one person that Imam is inviting to Karbala. And this letter arrives at the doorstep of the house of Habib. Habib receives this letter. This is a letter written to Rajul al-Faqih from Hussain al-Gharib. And he kisses the letter, brings it inside, opens the letter. He said, this is Habib, my old friend from my childhood. Hussein has now arrived in Karbala, surrounded by enemies. Don't miss this chance to come and support him. Imam Hussain knows that who is the right person to join him in Karbala. Imam Hussain wants people who have the marifat and understanding of why Hussain ibn Ali is taking this stand. Habib comes inside, talks to his wife. He said, who was he? He said, a letter. From whom? He said, from Hussain ibn Ali. He said, Hussain ibn Ali? What is he saying? He said, he's asking him, he's telling me that he's arrived in Karbala, he's been blocked, he's forced to camp at Karbala. So what are you going to do? So he's probably testing her level of faithfulness and devotion. I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking, how can I leave you in this old age and everything. He says, if you don't want to go, I am willing to go and give my life to Hussain ibn Ali. People, Habib is a very highly respected person in his clan, in his tribe. There's people, they heard that, that someone brought a letter to Habib. So they all flocked outside the house of Habib. They come to ask their leader, Habib, we heard there was a letter you received. Was it from Hussain? What are you going to do? He said, I am too old for this. I am too old. Now he's giving them, because spies everywhere. People are listening to every conversation, being reported. He said, I am too tired for this. And then he sends his slave to go and take his horse and stop and wait for him someplace. Habib finds how Habib was able to get there, I don't know. But we know that Habib made it to Karbala. His haram is in Zari, is in Imam Hussein's shrine. From that city of Kufa, how he managed to get out in that age. And he got to his slave who was waiting and talking to his horse, to the horse of Hadith. He said, if my master doesn't come, I will ride on you and go and support Hussain ibn Ali. Habib saw this and started crying that even the slaves are trying to help Hussain ibn Ali. Habib comes to Karbala. Imam Hussain had 12 flags. He had given flags to someone among his small force. One flag he had kept. People said, this one flag is there. We said, yes, the owner of this flag is about to arrive. Habib arrived over there. He saw, and they noticed someone is coming. He said, Imam Hussain said to his son, Ali Akbar and Abbas, here Habib comes, come and welcome him. They come out. Zainab hears this. She sends her salam. He said, give my salam to Habib. They come over there and they see Habib ibn Mazahir. He recognizes, in the dark of the night, recognizes the face of Ali al-Akbar and the face of Abbas ibn Ali. He gets down from his horse. He says, I don't deserve this kind of a respect and this kind of a welcome. He said, on top of that, he heard someone come and say, Zainab bint Amir al-Mu'mineen, Zainab bint Ali is sending her salam. He said, Habib picked up some sand from the ground and put it on his head. Wow, Vela. What a day for Ali Rasul, that someone like me, even whose name doesn't count, is now receiving a salam from daughter of Ali al-Murtaza. Joins this army that night of Ashura. Habib was walking around the camp, looking out, watching, and he overheard a conversation going on inside the camp between Zainab and Sayyid al-Shuhada. And Zainab was asking him, my brother, have you tested your companions? Tomorrow is going to be a big day. All this ocean, you see these lances and spears and all these are coming after us. Tomorrow we have no one except this small force. And what if when the battle starts, they all leave us and you and I will be alone in this battlefield? Imam Hussain gave an answer. He said, I've tested them and tried them. They love to die for Islam, for the Prophet's family. But this conversation, this part was heard by Habib, went to his companion. He said, oh, Qiyamah. This is like the day of Qiyamah for me. He said, what happened? He said, I heard the daughter of Ali does not trust our chivalry, our faith, our loyalty. What do we do? Habib, you know them better than us. You have a history with the family of Holy Prophet. Habib said, let's come follow me. They all come lined up before the camp of Zainab Kubra, went on their knees, took their swords and put it on their neck. And Habib announced to Fizda and said, Fizda, go and tell the daughter of Ali that we have come here to die for you. And it is too hard for us to wait till morning. If you would order us, we will behead ourselves right now. That was a reassurance for the family of Zainab, who had been so stressed because of what is going on. That was one thing of consolation. That one support that she received. The time came when someone insulted Imam Hussain alayhi salam. That, oh Hussain, your salat will not be accepted. Habib got upset. He said, the salat of Hussain will not be accepted. And your salat will be accepted. Habib asked for Imam Hussein's permission. And he went and encountered them. Heads were falling. Habib was fighting them. At one point, Habib came down on the ground, injured. Called Imam Hussain alayhi salam, alayka minnas, ya Aba Abdullah, assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Imam Hussain came to Habib ibn Mazahir, held him in his arms. That was the time when Habib made his final wasiyat. His body, Imam Hussain alayhi salam brought back. This is the time when Zainab Kubra says, this was the one person who gave me reassurance. Now everyone is gone. The time will come when Zainab will have no one to protect her. And she will be taken as a captive. Allah la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. Wa saya'lamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun. Allahumma ajjil li waliyyika al-faraj. Allahumma ajjil li waliyyika al-faraj. Allahumma ajjil li waliyyika al-faraj. اللهم العن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم العن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم العنهم جميعا بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار.